The grand arena of Zephyria hummed with anticipation as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for the 847th Intercultural Combat Tournament. Towering crystalline spires captured and amplified the roars of 10 billion spectators from 1,000 different worlds, their voices creating a symphony of alien languages that would have driven most species mad. At the center of it all sat the Tournament Council, their ancient forms draped in ceremonial robes that shifted color with their emotions. Ambassador Thexhai of the Valorian Empire adjusted his ceremonial battle armor, each plate forged from the heart of a dying star. His forearms flexed with barely contained power, muscles rippling beneath skin that could deflect plasma fire. The Valorians had dominated the tournament for 3 centuries, and Thexhai was their greatest champion, a warrior who had single-handedly conquered 17 star systems. "The human delegation has arrived," announced Keeper Volmos, his translator struggling with the concept as his species had no equivalent word for the strange bipedal creatures from the outer rim. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Humans were new to the galactic stage, barely 50 years since first contact. Their planet was unremarkable. No exotic materials, no unique technology, no formidable natural weapons. Most council members had voted against allowing them entry into the tournament at all. It seemed almost cruel to let such a primitive species participate. The human representative stepped into the arena, and the murmur died into confused silence. Where Thexhai stood 9 feet tall and weighed as much as a small spacecraft, the human barely reached 6 feet. His skin was pale pink, unmarked by battle scars or natural armor. He wore simple cloth garments and carried no visible weapons. Most puzzling of all, he held what appeared to be an ordinary stone in his right hand. "I am Marcus Chen," the human announced, his voice somehow carrying clearly across the massive arena despite his lack of any amplification technology. "I represent Earth in this tournament." Thexhai's mandibles clicked in what his species considered laughter. "Human, this is a combat tournament. Warriors bring weapons, armor, technology. You have brought a rock." Marcus smiled, an expression that seemed to unnerve several nearby species who interpreted the baring of teeth as a threat display. "This isn't just any rock. This is a piece of Earth, from the beach where my daughter learned to skip stones." The crowd erupted in what could only be described as interspecies confusion. The keeper consulted his datapad frantically, searching for precedent. Never in 8 centuries had anyone brought such a mundane object to combat. "Are you mocking this sacred tradition?" Thexhai's voice boomed, his armor beginning to glow with stored energy. "Not at all," Marcus replied, weighing the stone in his palm. "I'm just thinking about what makes something a weapon." The formal challenge began. Thexhai activated his battlesuit's full systems: energy shields that could stop a nuclear blast, strength enhancers that let him lift mountains, targeting systems that could track a photon's path. He launched himself forward with thrusters that left small craters in the arena floor. Marcus threw the rock. It wasn't a particularly impressive throw by human standards. Certainly nothing compared to an Olympic javelin toss or a professional baseball pitch. But Marcus had grown up skipping stones with his father, who had learned from his father, stretching back generations of earthbound humans who had discovered the simple joy of making flat rocks dance across water. The rock struck Thexhai's energy shield at precisely the right angle and velocity. The shield, designed to disperse massive amounts of energy across its surface, had never been calibrated for such a simple, kinetic impact at such low energy levels. The rock's rotation, imparted by Marcus's practiced wrist motion, created a resonance frequency that the shield's generators couldn't compensate for. The shield flickered and failed. The rock, its momentum barely diminished, continued its trajectory and struck Thexhai in the center of his chest. The Valorian warrior, caught completely off guard by the shield failure, stumbled backward. His massive weight, combined with his forward momentum, sent him crashing to the arena floor. For a moment, absolute silence reigned. Then chaos erupted. The keeper's translator finally gave up entirely, simply emitting a series of confused beeps. In the stands, xenobiologists frantically scribbled notes while military strategists began reassessing everything they thought they knew about human capabilities. Thexhai struggled to his feet, his armor's diagnostic systems running wild as they tried to understand what had just happened. "Impossible," he muttered. "How did your primitive projectile defeat Valorian technology?" Marcus walked over and picked up his rock, examining it for damage. It didn't defeat your technology. Your technology defeated itself. He looked up at the towering alien. See, we humans have a saying. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. But there's another one you might find more relevant. It's not the size of the stone. It's how you throw it. The human paused, then added with that unsettling tooth-baring expression. Of course, we also say bringing a gun to a knife fight. But sometimes you've got to improvise. As Marcus Chen was declared the tournament champion, representatives from across the galaxy began to reconsider their assessments of humanity. If these creatures could defeat the galaxy's greatest warrior with nothing but a rock and the physics they'd learned as children, what else might they be capable of? In his post-victory interview, Marcus was asked what he planned to do with his prize, a powerful energy weapon coveted by species across the galaxy. He smiled again and said, "I think I'll give it to my daughter, but first I want to teach her how to skip stones." The galaxy was still trying to figure out what that meant. Word count 1,000.